Dude, I appreciate you, dog.
Man,
I
anytime.
appreciate you,
My pleasure.
man, for taking the time out of your busy schedule, man. I definitely want to start off by saying that you have the greatest studio in
Man,
IE history.
man, I
Period.
appreciate
It
that.
doesn't come close. It really doesn't come close, bro. Like there's a lot of people that's came and went, and you really went through the storm through different
Man.
ages, genres, generations of artists that came and went. So we could just go ahead and start breaking things down, man. And this is RJ Fullrange.
RJ Fullrange, what's happening?
And so let's jump into it, man. Tell me, what got you started into music, and then what got you started into making a studio, and the trials and errors that came with that.
Okay. I got started in music. I always loved music. And I didn't find out till later, but my grandfather was in Duke Ellington's band. My grandmother, she was a dancer. I used to dance too, but that's a whole
Okay,
nother
okay.
story. Um, but yeah, so they were in entertainment. My dad and my mom didn't get along because I guess my grandfather was wild.
Yeah, yeah.
So I never got a chance to meet him. It was in the blood. So I got started. DJing was probably first. When DJing was big, or when it first became big. I got my little turntables. So I used to do, the little mixes and
Yeah.
stuff. I got halfway decent with that, and then that kind of led into recording. I started off with like a little 4-track. So I learned how to use that, and then added another little piece of equipment, learned how to add the reverb to it. And it just kind of progressed. And then through time, like I had been in rap groups, I've been in singing groups, and in most of the situations, I ended up doing like the recording. So I learned to mix and produce and get good at recording.
You were
Good
like the
good at the
Dr. Dre.
time. Yeah. I learned I heard that Dr. Dre used to record, his mixes on like little 4 tracks and 8 tracks and make them sound amazing. And I always wanted to, to be able to do that because at the time there was no money for no, 4-track was top of the line. Like we couldn't do more than that. So things just kind of progressed from there. One of the singing groups I was in, John B was our producer. So John B, our managers at the time got John B his record deal, and the group kind of split from there. Two of the guys in the group ended up like touring with him, which was cool, but I didn't want to take that path. So that's when
Yeah.
I started getting more serious about my stuff, and I started getting more equipment. Every apartment that we lived in was basically a studio. We didn't have no living room furniture. We had a couch and some recording equipment,
Come on now.
and so that was it. So it grew from there, and we eventually got our first house, and that was when I finally had like my own recording space. It was a small bedroom that I turned into my first like studio. And started bringing people in. Well, I always had people who would come in, no matter what setup I had. But that's when I started kind of making it more of a business, and started like acquiring like more customers. And then one of the groups I was in, I was still working at the time. So, and that was 2005 was my last job. I quit my last job at '05, and we were selling CDs to make ends meet. We were just pure grind mode. So I had the studio, but it wasn't producing enough money, to cover bills and stuff. And in '08 is when I got this spot. So that's when I officially opened Fullrange Studio. And it was still a struggle though for years, you know, because I had some clientele from when I had the house spot, and then it was just a grind mode from there. I had to make it work because basically when I got this spot, I took pretty much all the money I had and got this spot, and so then it just became about getting clientele, finding ways to, you know, to make word of mouth work. I was hitting the malls with flyers. And so eventually, you know, the clientele picked up, the word spread, and like I would say 95% of my business was word of mouth. You know, one artist would come in with another artist, and you know they would become a new client, and then they would bring people. So that's how most of my business here was built, as far as the, you know, just recording and engineering goes.
So was it like, is there, how can I say, like kind of like a sales, did you ever went through like a sales pitch moment with people, or was it mainly like, hey, you know, do you do music or a studio? I got what you need.
Kind of not. Most of like the hustle was mainly when I would hit the malls and I would just kind of pass out like handmade flyers.
What would you suggest nowadays, now that social media and everything
Nowadays, yeah, social media is the way. I wish I had it back then. That would have that would have helped a lot. But yeah, social media is the way to go. I don't know if you're familiar with Gary Vee, but he did a whole book on basically people building their careers off of, you know, the different social media platforms. So that's the way to go. Actually, I'm still on that as well. I have the second studio, so.
What was it like getting your? Well, first, let me ask you this: that feeling when you first opened Studio A, Fullrange, what was that feeling? Was it euphoric? Was it a weight off your shoulders, or
It
was
was
it more pressure?
a weight on my shoulder.
Okay, yeah.
No, it was exciting though, you know, because like I said, for years I've been recording in my living room. So to finally have my own spot that I could come and go as I please, play the music as loud as I want, that was super rewarding. But at the time, you know, you don't get to celebrate long because you got to make this money. You got to make it work at this point.
Yeah.
Like, I'm here now, so
Yeah.
it became about now. You know, now we've accomplished this. Now we got to make it work.
Right.
You know, we took the step, but now we got to make it happen. So yeah, it was a shortly celebrated moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't change it for anything, man. It's the best thing I ever did.
So with
Besides getting married and having kids.
oh, hey, shout out to Mia. You know, let me ask you this.
A kid, not kids.
Oh yeah, hey, you had to ask. She's
Like,
gonna
whoa,
look
whoa,
at
whoa,
this
whoa, whoa.
like, hey, what do you mean you got kids with an S?
Having a child.
All right. So with Studio A and Studio B, you know, for people out there that's watching this, what services do you provide in here?
Here, we provide really the whole thing. I started off, when I first started here, I envisioned it to be like the one-stop shop. So you could record, you could record, mix, edit, master, and then back then I was making CDs, so you could get your CDs done. We was doing artwork, we was doing the whole thing. More recently, I kind of just focus more on the music side of it as opposed to doing the CDs. That's too much. So I had to just niche it down. But you could record, you could mix, we could produce. We got all the software, we got the hardware. So whatever you need to get done musically, you can get done here.
Okay, so Like, so if somebody comes in, I know that you got on Studio B, they can shoot a music video in there or have a photo shoot.
Yeah, we got Studio B is very similar to this one. It's the same equipment essentially, except that the rooms are divided up kind of different. Like here we got the control room type of thing here, and then the vocal booth is there. At Studio B, the rooms are set up a little bit different. So we have one room, the first room. It can be done. It can be used as a content room, so you can shoot content. We got the backdrops, and then we have the control room and the vocal booth. But in the content room, it also doubles as a rehearsal room because we got a mic set up, so and a little PA system. So if you got a show or you want to shoot content like that with a mic and make it kind of like a more live type of thing, we're set up for that as well.
Okay. Let me ask you this. So as a business owner, when you quit your job, your 9 to 5 in like '05, what was that like when you had the balls to go ahead and say, hey, I'm out of here?
Terrifying. Because, at the time, my daughter was still young. We had a house, house note. So it was, it was scary. But I knew this is what I wanted to do. There was no doubt. So a lot of times when you put yourself in a position to sink or swim, you probably gonna swim. So that was the attitude we took. Like do or die type of attitude, no plan B. It's music or nothing. And so we made it work. We hustled for years selling the CDs and then doing the studio stuff on the side. And, as far as the group went, actually, we were doing well. We unfortunately broke up. But while we were grinding, we made a lot of connections. We met a lot of people. We did some big shows with some big artists, and we learned a lot. So it was definitely worth doing.
Did you have a lot of people kind of like trying to tell you not to do it?
You know what? Not a lot. And that's probably because our circle was really small. We kind of, especially at that time, like it was hustle, go home, set up for tomorrow's hustle. So there weren't a lot of people around to whisper in our ear. It was just us, and so there was there really wasn't room for that kind of talk.
So you guys didn't really have like any family that was trying to like stir you in a different direction, like
Kind of. I mean, people were surprisingly encouraging. But it's easy to encourage people, when you don't have to take those risks. So
yeah.
No, we got a lot of encouragement. And like I said, we made a lot of good things happen. It wasn't a whole lot of hate or naysaying when we were grinding like that.
That's really unique because some people, really don't have a clear head when they're going in because there's so many people having their opinion into, what you're doing as far as like your business choices or life choices or whatever like that.
Yeah, most people and, a lot of parents, friends, family, they will, tell you to have a plan B or, are you sure you want to do this type of thing? It just wasn't the case for us, but I do know that it's the case for a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of people like quit because of their girl. Like I'll see artists that used to come in, and he's disappeared, and I run into him, and that'll be, man, I had a girl, and my girl made me quit, man. I started having kids, or I got married, and a lot of times life gets in the way. And so I think if you're gonna do something like this, you have to make the decision first. This is what's happening, and then everything else gonna have to, build around that. You can't make this heavy of a decision and have it be second type of thing. Everything has to fall in line with your plan. Otherwise, you're probably gonna end up, back at a job, or quitting, and then back at a job. So it's a code. Definitely not for the faint-hearted. It's not something easily done. It takes, I probably, before things got steady, it was probably, I want to say 5 years of like solid grind, like, really bad Christmases and, and stuff like that. And then things started to pick up and get more consistent.
But was there any thoughts like, damn, like I didn't bit off more than I could chew, or is it like, yo, I gotta.
You always get those little, get those thoughts, but you can't stay in that, because then you'll end up quitting. And then when it has to be something you love. Otherwise, the sacrifices don't feel like they're worth it. When like I knew this is what I'm doing music. I'm not going to work a job for the rest of my life. I know that 100%. So when I made the leap, it didn't matter for me how bad things got. I knew this was what I had to do. So whatever it took to keep things moving is what it took. Going back to a job once I left was never an option.
Was like the job that you had before? Like, what kind of job was it?
I worked at the Rouse Distribution, was my last job.
Okay, so you was in distribution.
Yeah, so it was cool money. It was hard work though. It was work, and then it was overnight work too. So your sleeping hours is messed up, and so
12-hour shifts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we was doing the 10s, the 410s. And then so we were doing that and still doing music at the time, and which is why at some point we were like something had to go.
You didn't have enough energy at work to really do all this.
So we were leaving work, coming in, making CDs, and then going out and hustling as often as we could, and we just knew like we're gonna have to do more to really make some progress. Just doing a little bit here and there is not going to give us any real progress. So we kind of made a plan, like, okay, we're gonna go out, and then we're gonna go out. We're gonna go out. We're gonna go out on disability.
Yeah.
And then just never go back.
Yeah.
That's kind of
that was really smart.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
so we had a little plan, but
you gotta go in it with a plan. Yeah. Just be strategic with this, because they're gonna be strategic with you.
Yeah.
We're gonna tell him it's his last day on Thursday. Let him get a couple more hours in. He's been doing good. But
jobs don't care about you. When it's time to cut people, they cut people.
Yeah, man.
So yeah. So
that's really good. So how do you balance family time and a business?
That was a game too. It took a whole lot of understanding and patience on her part. For the first 5 years, just it really up and just until 2015-ish, I want to say, was when my schedule started to even out. But I was coming here I was coming in here at 9 a.m. and some nights leaving at 2 a.m. Like there was no balance. Because like I said, I was prepared to do whatever it took. I would come in here and spend, 15 hours here and make $50 type of thing. And it was not easy.
Yeah.
So it you just have to stick with it until things get better. It takes a lot of consistency and a lot of patience.
Mentally, what type of mental focus is that? Like, you got a wife,
Right.
you got a kid, and you out here starting your business. How do you stay focused? How do you not say, I'm
Really
going back to the distribution center?
Out of necessity, and then like I say, it's out of a heavy decision. When the decision is made, you have to stick to your guns. And so once I made the decision, like I said, I removed all the options. Getting a job was no longer an option. So making this work was the only thing. So like I said, when it's sink or swim, when you're in that water, all you thinking about is swimming. And so you just kick and pedal until you get good at it. And that's what it was.
Yeah, so I guess we can honestly say now that we are proud that you stuck through your guns because a lot of people wouldn't have great albums.
Yeah, we provided a lot of beneficial
Oh man.
situations for people. No, I'm really happy, man. We helped a lot of people get their stuff together. A lot of artists stuck with me through, from the beginning till now, and and it's benefited us all. It's helped me, build my business, but it's helped them put out, good quality music. Like I say, I'm dedicated to, continuing to learn. Like I started off, with way lower quality levels of things. Let me
Yeah,
turn
yeah,
this
yeah.
on. And just got and just continue to grow with technology. Like I said, when I started, automation and all the benefits that there are now, man, it just made it cake for me. Once like it went to computers and you could just automate everything. I was like, oh, okay, we about to walk now.
Oh, yeah.
So just sticking with the technology just made things easier for me, and made it more beneficial for the people that come here. Like I say, I'm dedicated to my craft, so I'm always learning. I've never reached a place to where like I'm here now, like because technology is always growing. I use Cubase, so they come out with Cubase with a new Cubase, a new Pro Tools, or whatever, pretty much every year. Just like the cell phones, like the technology keeps growing. And if you don't grow with it, you get left behind. So, like
It's kind of, for me, it's like when I look at it, music, film, restaurants, like business is business, right? So it's like, in a restaurant, you're gonna have good quality meat or food, plates, a place to sit and enjoy quality. You're not gonna put cheap chairs out there, somebody sit down and it's gonna
Right.
break. And then, you look at film, you could tell if something's shot with great quality or
Right.
is it a budget-friendly film. And then, music, if you sound like shit, most
Right.
people are not even going to listen to you.
Right.
So, don't be cheap on the dream.
Right. And a lot of times people judge you, from your presentation. Like you said, if you present trash, you can't expect people to take you serious. And so when you're just starting, you start how you got to start. But as you grow, and if you're serious about it, you got to take your craft serious, and you want to take your sound serious as well. So having high quality music is, is a must. At some
Got
point.
to.
Got
Like,
to. Like you can't continue to record, on your $50 mic, your $100 mic that you recorded at home, and expect amazing things to happen. Although anything's possible, but you want to give yourself the best shot. Recording quality music is just like shooting video with quality camera, and editing with quality software type of thing.
I like where you put that, where it's like, you're gonna start where you're gonna start, but that doesn't mean you have to stay there. That's
Right.
a choice. Like, you can always graduate
Yeah.
into a whole nother level.
And that's in all situations. You start poor, and it was a quote. They said, starting poor isn't your choice, but now I forgot the whole quote. But basically, if you start poor, it's not your fault, but staying poor is.
Staying poor is.
You got to figure out where you are and grow. And especially with today, like all the technology, all the knowledge is at your fingertips. It's in your phone, it's on Google. There's nothing that you can't learn. So to sit in any situation and not grow is a choice.
That's deep, because a lot of people will come to this crossroad and they're afraid to jump.
Right. It's for sure scary, but that's, everybody can't go. If you want to make it, there's a small percentage of people that actually make it in business, in music, and that's the reason, because it's designed that way. You have to go through all the mess. Because everybody, if it was that easy, everybody would do it.
Definitely.
So a lot of people start, but not everybody finishes.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, like, another analogy you could put with that is like, if somebody pushes you in the pool and you don't know how to swim, you're gonna either drown,
back to sink
or
or
you
swim.
learn how to swim, or at least float.
Right,
Figure
you
it
better
out.
learn to paddle.
Quick. It's a scary process right there, but man, I don't want to waste too much of your time, man.
I'm good.
I'm glad that we definitely got this interview. Hopefully you can have me for a part 2.
Man, whenever you're ready.
Come on,
whenever
man.
you're ready. I'm sure we left some stuff out, so we'll figure out what's missing.
Yeah.
And we'll come back and do another one.
Man,
Please.
if there's anything you want to tell people, man, the floor is yours, man.
Man, let's see. You know who it is, your boy RJ Fullrange, producer, engineer, entrepreneur. I can be found on Instagram, RJ_Fullrange. You can connect with this studio in Moreno Valley, California through that, or at fullrangestudio.com. Studio B, fullrangestudiob.com. You can book your sessions, get your quality. I also, I don't mentor people, but anytime I have clients that come here, I'm an open book, man. You ask questions. If I don't have the answer, I can probably get it for you. So I've helped, like I said, I've helped a lot of people build their careers, at no extra charge. So when you come here, man, you're in a good place. You're at a place, with people who care about music, who care about what happens, with your situation, with your music, with your career. We're gonna make it happen.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, dog.
My pleasure, brother.
All right, man.
Yes,
All right, man. Boss conversation.
Fullrange.